Hello, everyone. Wanted to share some information. The news media right now is, really kind of going against folks seeking representation when they're buying a home. Some of it has to do with money, where they're trying to devalue the use of a real estate agent when you go out and look at a house. In previous times, the buyer was of course responsible to pay their agent to help them find a home, but sellers were offering to compensate in order to make it easier on a buyer. So they would share some of that closing cost obligation so that the buyer had an easier time getting into the home. Well, now because some of the rules have changed and buyers are paying more attention to those potential costs, the question of whether or not a good real estate agent is necessary has come up. And it makes perfect sense. I mean, we're expensive. We take money, from the house that you would end up buying. And, of course, you're going to question whether or not an agent is bringing something to the table that is value enough to, sustain that amount or justify the amount of money. Well, I just came out of a networking group, a home tour group, and our networking group has folks from title and insurance and lending. And of course, we have a lot of real estate agents. And we look at houses in a specific market and we discuss with all those different perspectives and all those different, frames of the same industry. What makes one house better than another? Is it priced right? Is the condition good? All of that kind of stuff. It's very valuable to sellers to have that kind of feedback. Well, we came across a situation today that was really amazing. We're in a brand new area, and I say brand new loosely, is 2003, so a couple of years old. Beautiful homes, $500,000 homes all over the place. And the insurance agent that we have in our group mentioned that this area was called a PC10, and it's a fire protection rating that essentially says that you can't get a fire department to respond to this area. Now, we were all shocked and we were all talking about, how do we overcome this? How do we figure out what is the best situation for the seller? Is there a way to get coverage from the closest municipality or from the county or from a private fire station? All of these things were discussed. And really what we're trying to do is make sure that a buyer is informed on what's happening and what the plan is in this area to get them fire coverage, as well as what do insurance rates look like when your fire department might be a volunteer fire department, or it might be, close to a municipality that is not going to respond to an emergency in this area. Absolutely incredible information that was shared. Now, if a buyer has representation and if a buyer is hiring somebody to seek out that information, they're going to get it. But I'll tell you, sometimes the listing agent doesn't even know what's going on with these types of scenarios. And groups like this, agents coming together to discuss these problems, are what reveal information that is absolutely crucial to a buyer and a seller. So before you look at your real estate agent as just too expensive as part of the situation, think about what can happen if you don't have the right information before you select a house. Maybe it's a flood zone, maybe it's a fire problem, maybe it's insurance, maybe there's a lien against the house. There's a lot of details that people truly need to dial into, and that is your agent out there working on your behalf. So I hope this was helpful. I hope it jogged your thoughts about working with a professional when you're seeking property.